All right, welcome back. More Monster Hunter Fridays. Again, finally on a Friday. We're doing good. We're keeping to it schedule wise. I've got this, so I won't be dead as a doornail. And because everybody was begging and pleading, all four of you who watched the Pleasing video, Ceph's back. Ceph's pretty much just gonna be back.
Hello, I'm
The,
being held captive.
shut the. Anyway, Ceph's here. Totally, consensually. Nothing shady. Just not against her will. She's not. She wasn't forced to sign a contract while getting her to 8 more seasons. Anyway, so we're here to talk about actually Ceph's favorite monster and its subsequent subspecies. Um, Unfortunately, because that one's kind of
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
But we're here to talk about Tobi-Kadachi. Yeah. Not really the first of anything, I wouldn't say, or well, because he's not the first of his classification, but I would say is he the no? He's not the first because he's a
he's he's world's teacher for Thunderblight.
yeah. I was gonna go for a classification thing, but I think he counts as a fanged wyvern, doesn't he? Or is he a fanged beast?
Yes.
Okay, is he not? Do the Jagras also count as fanged wyverns or fanged beasts? I can't recall.
Um.
Because he might be the first fanged wyvern you fight in World. I could be wrong, but I have been wrong before about a lot of things in World.
Um.
But I'm gonna go ahead and start playing the footage in the
The
background.
Jagras and Gyros both count as fanged wyverns.
Okay, so then he's not the first. He's really not the first of anything then, but he is the first thunder monster you fight. We'll give him that. In World, he's the first thunder monster, which is a really good, unique thing because, as I've said a number of times, there's not a lot of thunder monsters in the franchise. Which I mean, granted they are powerful, so that's probably why they're limited as much as they are. But there's even less water monsters, but that's just because it doesn't make a lot of sense or impact for them to not. There was a lot of them in Try, but that was the whole kind of gimmick to Try. But anyway, as you can see in the background, there's another hunt going on. We're making that a thing, and I fucked up. I didn't get green plesioth footage for the last video. Why? Mostly because A, I forgot, and B, because I did not want to fight green plesioth. Because it was bad enough fighting the normal one. But we are going to be talking about Viper as well, because Viper is not a deviant. Viper is a subspecies, and it is a subspecies that is so unique compared to its own, main species that it warranted a hunt of its own and us talking about it, as compared to a lot of the older gens where it's just a color swap. There's a different color, there's a different abilities, there's different elements, there's different everything. So, but first we're going to talk about regular Toby. So what does Toby do? He's your first introduction really to, I'd say, aggression, because this game has a lot of aggressive, fast monsters in it, and he's kind of your first, introduction to that. To not only that, but to the monsters using the environment against you. Like he's climbing trees, he's flying around, he's hanging all over the place really, and you'll see that a lot in this footage here. But which I'm very happy with how it turned out. Like I'm watching as I'm talking to you right now, and yeah, it's not even lagging at all, which it was when I was recording it. But it's great. But yeah, and as you said, he's your first intro to the Thunderblight mechanic in the game, which I don't think that was in this game originally. I don't know, but in this game for sure, he is the first one we'd run into that has Thunderblight, which increases your vulnerability to stun, which is he doesn't really do a lot of stunning attacks though, which is interesting. Um, but yeah, as far as it goes with him being a teacher for sure is for the element to get because for a lot of people this is their first game because this was really hyped as kind of a revamp. You know, there was gonna be all new shit in it, and there was, and a lot of people this is their first Monster Hunter game. So him being in here as the first introductory to a lot of things is very interesting. Um, but yeah, you want to maybe talk about I don't know, like what makes this your favorite?
Honestly, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't primarily the design, but also I just kind of got into the habit of memorizing its patterns. It's very rapid attacks, and it's a good way to learn how to deal with those faster monsters because while sure you won't run into as many of them early on, you will be dealing with a lot of like really fast monsters that will just fuck you up
Like
if
Odogaron.
you are not careful. Uh, uh, Odogaron is the bane of my existence,
Can't wait
or at least
to
Emily.
can't wait to cover Odogaron.
But
um,
actually, going back to the topic of when Thunderblight was introduced, it was actually introduced in third gen,
wow, damn. Damn,
and
was it? That's crazy.
yeah,
I haven't been in that gen
says
for ages. But you know, now that you mention it, I'm getting vague like confusion because I remember being so confused because a loud like Iacris would constantly hit me with it, and I'd be like, "What the fuck does that lightning bolt mean? Does that mean I'm electrocuted? What does it mean?" I never knew what it meant. To be young again, because I'm an old man. I'm an old man, Ceph. My bones are ancient and broken. But but yeah, Toby is definitely one of the more fun monsters to me because of like how fast he moves. I will say that. I like that. That's why I like Nargacuga a lot too. Is because like I love all the movement, the monsters that are just aggressive and move fast. Because that's why I like Bloodborne so much. Is because it's so fast and you have to do a lot of fucking moving and dodging and counterattacking and shit. And that's why I like these faster monsters because it's not like you're fighting a like the big monsters are like, oh, don't get me wrong, like seeing like Zora Magdaros, Lao Shenlong, Shingeorin, all the big boys, it's really really fun. I do like it. It's the grand magnitude of these creatures, how big they are, is great. But it's so slow and it's so easy to get bored as fuck. But with these guys, you don't have a minute. You are going to have to put 100% concentration into fighting this thing. There's no rhyme or reason as to what it's doing. It's going to be fucking going ape shit. You can't stop at all at any point.
only only way you can ever just like zone out is if you have its patterns down as muscle memory.
Yeah. Or if you get a chance to actually try and KO it, which unfortunately uh, both of the Tobis, I believe, have a high stun resist because it took me forever, as everyone can see, it took me forever to try and get these motherfuckers down with the horn. And a lot of people are gonna be like,
Once you
"Oh,
get
well,
them
it's
down, though, it's you just bully them.
yeah."
Once they're down once, you bully the fuck out of them.
Which you'll see that in a minute because we finally got Viper down and it didn't. It didn't. It's not pretty. It's like we fucking put a fish in a barrel and got a fucking 12 gauge pump. Um, but yeah, a lot of people are gonna be like, "Well, it might have took you so long because you're not using a hammer." It's like, no, I would argue Horn is like really, really good for stunning, like more so than Hammer because of how many hits per second you do. But if you really want to talk the big KO game, that's Bowgun with sticky ammo. But that's a topic for a different category, which I don't know when we're gonna go into that because I always talk about how we're gonna eventually do once we're done with the monsters, we go into the armors, the weapons, the item. But I don't know if we want to wait till we're done with the monsters, or if we want to implement them at some point as well, simultaneous. But anyway, but yeah. So the Toby footage is now over. That was a very quick hunt, very easy, squeezy, living greasy kind of deal. But Toby himself, I think Toby, base Toby, is a good monster. He did come back. Not everybody from World came back to Rise. Um, like the greats for the lizards, like Jagras didn't come back. Only the base Jagras, I think, even came back. I don't think the Seamus or the Gyarados came back, did they? In Rise?
No, I don't
Yeah.
believe so.
And the Great Gyarados obviously didn't. The Dogoma never came back. A lot of these monsters did not come. Nergigante, of all things, didn't even come back in Rise, which is a
I feel
little
like Nergigante made a bit of sense given its nature.
true. And I'm also confused. Is Rise on the same? Is it in the old world or the new world? I can't remember.
It's old world.
Which makes it kind of strange because of the new world monsters being there. it doesn't make a lot of sense to me because there's so many New World monsters in Rise.
Consider how many monsters do you think it could ride on Zormagros' back?
Do you think that's how they got there? That's awesome.
It's the only thing I can think of.
That would be actually a really cool. That's actually a really cool theory, though. I mean, you've got these colossal monsters
Or
traveling.
hell, like maybe escaped like monsters that they didn't keep in Astera.
I'm wondering. Okay, so a lot of these monsters make sense because they can fly. The wyverns, obviously, but when it comes to ones that can't, like brute wyverns, fanged wyverns, etc., I'm thinking either I would love it, honestly, if what you said was true, but I wonder if they could because Zora Magdaros goes underwater a lot. But I'm wondering maybe it's a Jurassic Park situation, like Jurassic Park 2, where we've captured some of these things and we're bringing them back to the old world to
That's what I
study.
was saying.
Yeah, yeah. So that might be the case. But yeah, Toby is. I like Toby. I'm not gonna say I would be devastated if he doesn't come back in Wilds, but I'm not gonna hate it if he does. I mean, I would be okay with that myself. I don't know.
Yeah, Toby I feel is like one of those monsters where it's like it does one job, but it doesn't do it great. But it's just kind of there because it's cute.
It does have a really good design. I'm gonna give you that 100%. I do love like the flying lizard squirrel thing. um, so now that we've gotten that sorted up, we're gonna start. I'm gonna start playing this then. So we're gonna go move on to Viper Tobi-Kadachi, the subspecies, and
Yeah.
currently the only thing that is not base Tobi-Kadachi because I don't think there's any variants. There's no non-canon forms as of right now, to my knowledge. Viper is the only thing we've got. So Viper is so unique. We had to fight it and talk about it because you have Yayan Kutku, as you have Plesioth, you have Kazu. All these monsters have subspecies, but they aren't any different than a color swap. And some stat boosts. Same with the Wraths. Like there's no different element to them. There's nothing different than a little bit of a size difference and some stat differences. They do have different move sets. I'll give them that. But this thing not only has a completely different color scheme, it also has a completely different environment it lives in, and it has a completely different method of attacking. Like its bites it swaps out the element for the ailment. It has paralysis bite. It has it has
Poison and
poison.
noxious poison.
Yes, exactly. And it's crazy because like the only other creature I've ever seen that has more than one ailment like that is Espinas, which only became canon in Rise. Um, but it has poison and paralysis on top of having fire, which is absolutely insane to have monsters that have because Elatrion has multiple elements but it's an elder dragon and it's a first class danger wyvern or not wyvern monster. I keep saying that it's a first class danger monster. It's a black dragon just like Fatalis, so you would expect something like that to be able to do some crazy crap like that, but to see it on a monsters like Espinas, which granted Espinas is you would expect because it's huge and it's a giant menacing wyvern, but a Tobi-Kadachi you would not think it would get anywhere anything
Well,
near that,
die.
but sure enough it gets two ailments, which is fantastic, and the moveset gets an upgrade, and just I like Viper's design more personally because it is the detail in it, the browns and blacks and like the pattern on the tail is
Don't
beautiful.
forget the spines are actually visible on the tail.
Yes, exactly. And it has a snake, like, it looks more like a snake to me than regular Tobi-Kadachi does, which is cool, especially with the name being Viper Kadachi. But, yeah, I mean, it's not anything, like, teacher-wise or first of anything-wise, but it is, I will say, it's probably the first, subspecies that they introduced in Iceborne that really stood out to me as being like wholly unique in and of itself. Because I mean, Anjanath's is great. Fulgur Anjanath's cool and all, but design-wise, it's just kind of lacking a bit to me. But this thing has everything. It rings all the bells. You know, I mean, it's got the design, it's got the mechanics, and I mean, I don't but I don't know what does Viper stand for you? Like, what does it mean to you?
Tobi-Kadachi. Oh, fuck. Listen, I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I love my boy. I love regular Tobi-Kadachi. Viper-Kadachi, while sure it's not the worst thing in the world, especially once you actually get like used to it. To compared to regular Tobi-Kadachi, I just
Yeah, I'm not gonna say he's any better. I'm just gonna say I enjoy and I appreciate the fact that he is a different species. He's not
yeah.
because there's a
I
difference between deviant and subspecies, but subspecies has never really been super great until like I think third gen at least, um, where there was just some really heavy differences in everything. But I like that it's supposed to be a different monster basically. It's the same monster, just it's got different methods of everything because it's a different
Yeah,
species in the genus, and I like that there is such a distinction between these two. Me personally.
I will say this though. It is very amusing that it's weak to thunder.
Yeah, yeah, that's a bit interesting for sure. Which it does play into the fact that in this area, it's normally Toby has to square up with Anjanath on a reg, and I believe Toby is weak to fire. Um, and it's very interesting that the subspecies to both those monsters also live in the same area, and one's weak to the thunder element that is produced by the larger monster that predates it.
You
So
would actually be surprised. It's fire is not the most effective of elements against it.
on regular Toby?
Yep,
Oh, really?
water is.
On a thunder monster?
Keep in mind, it's all static electricity, and what happens when you get fur wet?
Okay, yeah, true, fair. That is fair. Um, maybe.
And for living in going back to Viper, for living in a cold area, being weak to ice seems like a very detrimental thing to.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Which is a good thing they didn't make him weak to ice. um,
No, they did.
he is.
Viper is weak to thunder and ice.
That's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. Oh man, and living in the hoarfrost, that's gotta hurt. I mean, you got shit like fucking Biratotus. You got shit like Rajang living out there. Valkana lives out there. Oh man, that's nuts. But yeah, as you guys can see, like once we can get this Viper on his ass, it's pretty much game over. He just doesn't do anything afterwards because he can't. Because I mean, but yeah,
Even with its high stun resistance, it can't help if it's being constantly smacked in the head.
this is how you play blunt weapons. You just hit things till they stop moving. I saw this one meme that it always makes me laugh. It's somebody drew a character with a charge blade, like you use it, and then it's like, oh, this, well, and then there's just a wall of text behind the character of explaining how to use the fucking thing, and then there's just this guy with like Goblin Slayer-esque armor. He just slams his hammer on the table. He's like, I'm a hammer main. Hit the monster till it stops moving. Just the simplicity of hammer is so fucking crazy. How effective it is, but horn, hammer, I love the big blunt weapons because you knock it on its ass and it just doesn't move anymore. but but yeah, Toby's very interesting. So as far as Viper goes, because keep in mind, we'll talk about that when we get to it. But as far as Viper goes, because Viper didn't show up in Rise, so or did I don't think he did he?
No.
So
in
Viper's an
one A
iceborne
tier.
creature. So for the likelihood of him coming into wild, I don't know where wild state is going to take place. Do we know where it's going to take place? Is it in the new world or the old world?
They haven't said anything on it yet.
So the likelihood of these guys even showing up at all is kind of up in the air. But as far as wilds goes, I wouldn't mind seeing Viper again. Maybe in a jungle-esque environment. That might make a little more sense for its biology and its ecology. I don't know. That's just what I would think, since it's definitely more snake-esque than regular Toby. But I would like to see it maybe again in Wilds. I wouldn't be hurt if it didn't, but it would be pretty cool to see him back. What do you think about Wilds?
I would love to see Toby again. Like again, I'm biased because it's one of my favorite monsters. I just think it's a fun little guy.
Well,
But
I
I
mean,
don't think Viper would
okay,
come back.
you don't want to see Viper come back.
Viper. It's not that I don't want to see. It's not that I don't want to see him come back. It's more so I don't think he will.
Okay,
He's not as popular by comparison to regular Tobi-Kadachi.
yeah,
He,
that's fair.
and out of the entire Monster Hunter roster, I'm actually surprised he came back Lincoln Rise at all, given that like in terms of the popularity polls, Tobi-Kadachi ranked I think like 68th.
But yeah. So yeah, he's probably not gonna come back, but it would be interesting because like they did with Rise, they did a lot more subspecies for different creatures, and some didn't come back. So it would be interesting. They're probably gonna put more subspecies for different monsters in there. I don't know if Viper's gonna come back, but yeah, I don't know. So keep in mind now we are gonna be putting them together on the same plane in the list. So where exactly would you be thinking that that the Tobys should go?
Mm-hmm. As much as I love them, low C tier.
Low C tier. Yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking, somewhere in the mid. So we got our little. This is just the regular Toby icon, but we got the little Toby icon. So I'm gonna take our board here, our magical board of wonders, and I'm gonna put it on this side so everyone can fucking see it. I'm gonna have to block the fen for a second. That's my fennec. I have a fennec now. Good friend, good friend Fen sent that to me. Very happy. Her and Ceph sent me the fen, and it's very nice, and it sits here as part of the fucking crew now, basically. I'm trying to hold this and have it not be fucking there. It's here. I'm trying my best. Bear with me, everyone, please. Please bear with me. Ceph, distract them from my incompetence with words.
God. You can't put me on the spot like
I thought
this.
you said no. I was like, oh god, please. No, Ceph, don't do this to me. Okay, so as far as our C tier goes, in C tier we do have let's see. So the top dog in C tier is the Damio Hermitor currently. The only other monster in C is he's not at the tail of C. There's 3 tiers in these. There's 3 sub tiers in the tiers. The leader of tier 3 is Kezu currently, and the top dog is Damio Hermitor. So where are you feeling, Tobi-Kadachi?
Oh, sorry, I spaced.
Okay, so there's 3. So with every tier, there's 3 sub tiers, right? The lines in which we place these suckers. So at the leader of the 3rd tier in C is Kezu, and the top dog of C tier entirely currently is Damio Hermitor. So where are you feeling Toby's?
Honestly, fucked up as it is, like, below Kezu.
Below Kezu on C. Okay, well, for argument's sake right now, we'll put him right next to Kezu.
Uh,
Because, yeah, I mean, I agree, especially when you take into consideration what they are. Like, Kezu is aside from Kieran, I would say Kezu is the top dog in terms of thunder creatures. That's just what I would think. Because when you look at the list of them, yeah, it's a short list, but nobody really does thunder like Kezu and Kieran. That's their whole bread and butter. But with Toby,
Are,
you've got some different stuff, you know.
are you just completely glossing over Zenogre?
I forgot. I forgot he existed for half a second. I'm sorry.
Did you forget me again?
I don't. It's been a long day. This is the only reason I'm making this video right now. Okay, leave me alone. But yeah, because Zenogre is actually an RS tier. That's even worse. But yeah. So yeah. I would say go follow my TikTok, but at this point, I don't think I'm going to be doing it anymore because I'm pretty sure they have passed the thing to ban it here in the States.
It's gonna take like at least a year.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll try to post. I have been saying forever I'm gonna make more SCP shit on there, and I have yet to fucking do it because I'm a lazy idiot who forgets everything I do. So I'm going to try to make more SCP content on there. I'm gonna try to post more things in general. I'm gonna try and keep uploads on here more frequent because I've also been slacking a bit on that. So go check out my YouTube, go check out my TikTok, go check out the main Mystic Portal Emporium channel. Constantly putting shit up on there. Check out their TikTok, our TikTok. Check out my Fennec. It's fucking great. Big thanks to Finn and Ceph for sending me the Fennec.
Also throwing you under the bus again. You forgot Rajang and White Fatalis are both thunder monsters.
God freaking dang it! Well, Rajang okay.
And Laggy.
Listen. Rajang technically gets its power from eating the Kirin horn. Okay, it's not a thunder monster till it goes through the rite of passage, and Laggy is more of I don't know. Yes, he's a thunder monster, but it's more of just I don't. That's all Kezu and Kirin have, is what I was trying to say. That's all they have to them. That's all that there is. Other than their appearances, which are crazy and creepy, that's all they've got. Rajang, Zenogre, Laggy, fucking everything else. They all have more to them as monsters than just I'm a thunder monster. Kezu doesn't really have that. Kirin also doesn't really have that. But anyway, check out all my shit wherever I might be. You could find me anywhere. I could be at the Walmart and you could see me and be like, hey, there's that guy stealing fruit gushers again. Check out my Fennec. It's really cute. It's part of the crew now. Give it a head pat. Check out all the shit Ceph does on whatever. Ceph, you want to plug your shit?
Still working on it.
Go check out Ceph's shit. It's awesome. I would 100% recommend it. Top tier quality shit. It's everywhere. It's all over the internet. You can't even look. You can't even type a single letter into the Google search bar without it recommending Ceph's shit. I promise you, the best stuff you'll ever watch in your entire life. Fuck my channel. Go watch her channel. Why are you even here? Just stop it. Just go over there. It's much better. It will be. I promise. 100%. Anyhow, that'll about wrap us up. This is probably the longest one we've done in this little segment. What I don't know, whatever the fuck to call it. My brain's fried. But yeah, this is probably the longest one we've done, and I've had a wonderful time doing this. This has been very fun. So, if it's either here or over there, hopefully we'll see y'all in the next one. Because Ceph's Ceph's a part of this now. Ceph's been locked in. She's locked into the monster ranking. So yeah. Ceph, you wanna say anything before we go?
Help.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! She didn't say bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.